of communications to get that switch turned on. And inside of that goal, we identified some content that potentially, and tasks that potentially, that the LSS could take on. For instance, is there a lead manager manifesto? Well, there isn't one. Could LSS take that on? It seems small enough that the LSS could do such a thing. Sorry. John talked about, we need to start a course, right? Just like, what is this thing? Why are you a middle manager? What is a lead manager? What do you do now? Now that I don't have to tell everybody what to do, what do I do now? I don't see your time about here. Talked about 7 habits by Covey. It's like, what are the habits of a lead manager, right? Maybe talk about that a little bit, some more content we can develop. And then aggregation of existing content, reading lists, directed reading lists, good websites to talk to, what we all should, those kinds of interesting things, right? But just a core resource, right, that is all of these things brought together, because they're not, and it's incredibly hard to find any of it. And then we talked about a few principles behind that, like there's got to be a balance between which part of this is self-discovery and which part of it is directed, and how much is the journey do you want to really put a strong path for them, and how much of the journey do you want to allow them to wander off in the woods and do a little bit of self-discovery, because these people are generally going to be very high functioning. They had a lot of success in where they were, and they probably come through, they were probably team managers or at some point, so they got that kind of experience. So then where do you go with that? We like middle leaders, and we got rid of that. We talked about lead manager, and we might get rid of that and talk about lead leader. But the middle was something that we said that really doesn't feel useful as a term. And let's see here, what else? Stories. The basis for much of this is stories about this tier of people who do this leadership, who do this change, and what are their stories, and what can we learn from them so that we can get it to stick.
Yeah, what people retain.
Right, what people retain, right? We have the stories that people retain. And then, so this is ultimately about a first layer of support, get them interested, get them turned on, and a second layer of support, here's what you can go learn from now. Right? That's the kind of the approach. Anything else anybody would like to add? Yes?
Was there any discussion about, and I don't know, maybe it's a unique experience, but in my particular organization, middle managers, if you will, are very valuable assets on cross-functional teams because they know enough about the details of a process to contribute vital information when doing a process improvement project or something. And they also know enough about what the big bosses want to ensure that we're going to have good deliverables on the team. So, I'm seeing that a lot at my company, and I don't know if your question here, the manifesto, what do people in the middle do? Why can't they be on cross-functional improvement teams? I mean, it does take a lot of time, a lot of energy, and they can produce real results that are measurable as long as those success criteria are established at the charter level of the project.
Short answer is no.
You talked about the community of practice, but not as pithy as you've described it here.
Right, yeah. I mean, in the prior discussion, we did talk about community of practice and what does it mean to be a team of managers, because in many organizations, or the team of managers don't exist, right? Once you become that, once you become a director or VP, it's like you're kind of on your own, which is a sad state of affairs. Which is why budgets, and I'm totally convinced that's why budget cycles go completely crazy, because everybody's in it for themselves. Any other comments or questions? Yes?
So at Kaizen Camp recently, I just did this workshop where I asked, what do managers do? Basically this question. Right. And I got a lot of feedback that basically was, I have no idea what they do, they're just kind of bad people, and I don't like them.
Wow.
And so I thought that I was a setup, because I thought that's what people would say. I think one of the problems is people don't know, we can't improve managers because nobody knows what they're supposed to be doing, so they can't improve it. So I went and I talked to Esther Derby about this, and she suggested an exercise that I would love to do at some point, which is all we need to do is this. write down everything that managers do right now
Right.
on stickies.
Right.
Put them on a wall, and then let's say on this side is things we'd like them to do more, and on that side is things we'd like them to do less. And let's emerge what it is that managers are actually doing right now. What's the good stuff they do right now? Point it out to them and actually say, good management kind of looks like this. And it's not a new behavior, it's a current behavior that's happening right now. Because I can't believe that all managers in the world are just evil, awful people who don't have anything better to do than torture the people they work with.
I hope I didn't. Yeah, I mean, that would be an interesting exercise as a starting point for
Exactly.
what is a lean manager manifesto, right?
Yeah.
It's a set of stories about,
It would be good fun.
Yeah, I mean, we could.
Yeah.
That's part of why we have those 2 hours. Those things came out of here, so definitely, that sounds like.
I'm all about it.
Do we need tomorrow for that?
I'll talk to James, see how long.
I think we had a facilitator, Mr. Jib. Any other questions or comments?
That's good. Yeah,
All right. Please go.
awesome. I just have to say something. Amazing.